Good day, good people. There's a lot happening in the next few weeks. We're looking forward to Yvette's ordination as a deacon next Saturday at 3 o'clock. Please pray for her and all the other candidates for ordination at this time. As I said in a previous message, hers is a calling which we all share, to proclaim the gospel, to seek out the lost and to be responsible for the resources of the church. Deacons also particularly lead us in prayer, and their calling is to be at the edge of the church and the world. Yvette will act as a liturgical deacon in the recorded and in-person Eucharists on the very next day, Sunday the 4th of October, which will also be St. Francis's Day, the feast of our patron saint. This makes it a very auspicious occasion, and I am delighted that the preacher at these services will be the Reverend Rebecca Watts, who is a good friend of Yvette's and is also an associate priest at All Saints in Gosforth. Unfortunately, COVID restrictions mean that members of our congregation won't be able to attend the ordination, and so the service will be live streamed on the St Gabriel's Facebook page, and it will also be available to watch afterwards as well. On the following Monday morning, to inaugurate her ministry, Yvette and I will undertake a prayer walk around our parish, and we invite you to join us in prayer for our community and all the ways we attempt to serve it. We will aim to document the walk with photos and possibly some live streaming as well on Facebook. In spite of the lockdown restrictions, alongside our commitment to worship and to each other, has been our desire to serve the community in our neighbours near and far. As I've also mentioned in previous messages, we are exploring using our church hall more, especially to serve people during this season of separation. I'm glad to say that we will be trialling tea and toast this coming Monday in a much changed format and in a COVID-secure way. Although the latest guidelines do not forbid other things starting, we are taking more time to think about the reformatted place of welcome and the toddler group. I'm confident that both of these will emerge, but in the current febrile atmosphere caused by the higher rate of infection in our region, as well as the government's latest announcements made only this week, it seems prudent to proceed slowly and carefully. The Prime Minister told us that we're looking at these measures being in place for the next 6 months. So it's going to be important for us to make those provisions where we can that offer a sense of belonging to our local community, but we must do it safely. Meanwhile, the building work is progressing on schedule, and I'm looking forward to being able to routinely be based at church for the administration and management of our community. To this end, the PCC is meeting next Monday, and we will hear the latest financial update, as well as reports from the Responsible Caring Group and the Eco Groups, and an assessment of our activity in the past 6 months. We're also looking forward to our annual meeting, which will be on Sunday the 25th of October at 11 o'clock. Changes in church rules mean that this meeting can be held electronically, so that we can be certain that we will be COVID secure. I know that not everyone is able to use the internet, but it will be possible for people to also dial into the meeting by telephone so that they can at least listen and speak at the meeting if they would like to do so. We all know that this is less than ideal, but on balance it ensures the greatest possible participation within the constraints of how we currently must live. That also will mean that the in-person Eucharist on that day only will be at an earlier time of 9 o'clock. The PCC will also be asked to designate Sunday the 11th of October as our Stewardship Sunday, and before that date, everyone in our church family will receive a letter thanking them for their planned giving during the past year, And if you are not yet a member of our plan giving scheme, perhaps you could consider joining it. It is regular giving which enables us to plan our activity as a church, and the generosity of our supporters is what makes it possible for us to be looking forward with such confidence. We do not take this giving for granted, and on behalf of all of our church membership, I want to express a mutual gratitude for all that each individual family and household is able to do to support us. We will also hear on Monday that the lockdown has meant that there has been a severe shortfall in our usual revenues from hall bookings, estimated to be about £10,000, as well as income that we will not be receiving from our usual fundraising events like the Summer Festival and the Harvest Ceilidh. We're funding the shortfall from reserves. I think this has been the rainy day for which reserves are partly kept. But as you know, that this is not something we can plan to make a habit of. And so I'm therefore proposing that the 11th of October, we invite everyone prayerfully and carefully to consider whether they could make a one-off extra gift to help plug this gap. We've got just over 80 households in our parish family, as well as many friends and supporters beyond that. And to plug that gap, it would need each household to make a gift of £125. Now, I know that everyone is in different circumstances, but accepting that some might be able to afford more and some less than that sum, do you think you could help us achieve that target? My hope is that by our annual meeting on the 25th of October, we will have some good news to share, which I think will be a continuing source of encouragement as we look forward. As we enter the autumn and winter months, I'm determined that our life of worship, community and service will not diminish, and our creative energy and deep compassion will enable us to make the kind of efforts that are required to ensure that we are playing our part during this pandemic crisis, to be a place where people find faith, hope and love. This will help support the cohesion of our community and be a model of good practice, which I think will inspire and encourage others to join in our endeavours. God gives the growth, but we must not be frightened to undertake the work. And in a Franciscan spirit, we do this with humility and joy.